everyone. My name is Anne-Marie Thomas, and I am going to chat a bit today about OK Go Sandbox, a project that my research lab works on with the rock band OK Go. I am looking forward to making this interactive and hearing from all of you. So please feel free at any point to chime in with questions. I know that our tech team will post them in the chat or type them in the chat yourself. I would love to hear from you as this goes along. So I will dive right in. We're going to watch some videos. We're going to talk a bit about using music videos in the classroom. And then hopefully I will get some ideas from all of you. And maybe even share a sneak peek of where OK Go Sandbox is going next. So OK Go Sandbox is a partnership between the rock band OK Go. I'm curious if you're logged in and on the chat, how many of you have ever watched any of the music videos by OK Go? I'll keep an eye on the chat to see. Hopefully a few of you have seen OK Go's incredible music videos. And the Playful Learning Lab, which is the research group that I lead at the University of St. Thomas in Minnesota. We together make up the OK Go Sandbox initiative. And I want to start with how this effort started. But first, I'll just show you a short little video on what OK Go Sandbox is. And let me just make sure, I'm going to stop my share for a second and make sure I've shared my sound, because since we're talking about music videos, we need some sound. All right, here we go. So what is OK Go Sandbox? Well, I'll let the band tell you rather than me.
OK Go Sandbox is a website where teachers can engage with the content of OK Go's music videos and use them in their classrooms for challenges and to start discussions about things like art and math and science.
Right now, we know that there are teachers out there who are using our art to actually do something really good in the world. And that's such a rare and wonderful thing that we just want to help it. We want to do anything we can to be a part of that process.
It's an honor to have teachers continue on with the videos and the artwork that we make.
I think the real-life application of science is what our kids need to see. Far too often they see what happens within four walls and don't see the relevance of the science, technology, engineering, mathematics in the real world.
This is a project done with teachers. Teachers have been part of it at every step.
I can't go out and produce these amazing videos, but I as a teacher know what to do with them when you give them to me.
We're trying to provide tools for teachers so they can bring some joy and some wonder into the classroom.
I've never had lessons so engaging before, all the way through. It broadens the spectrum of people who would otherwise be less interested in science. I don't have kids that aren't into it.
To take math and science off the page and into the world in a way that kids can see that it's fun and it's creative and it's worth engaging in.
I think by having this sort of content that comes from the place that students really care about and turn that into fun educational activities that the teachers find useful, then for us that's a perfect win.
These things we've made, the world is actually using them for good. Let's keep that going.
All right, so what really is OK Go Sandbox? And since we made that video, it has expanded quite a bit beyond math and science. And actually, maybe I'll hint a little bit on where we're going next. All right, so this started because I drink way too much coffee. I have a glass with me right now. And in the spring of 2017, I was at a conference in Canada and decided to grab one last coffee before I headed to the airport to fly home to Minnesota. And the person in front of me in line was Damien Kulash, who is the lead singer of OK Go. And they had given a presentation at this conference. And so I worked up the courage to say hello and say how much I liked their videos. And he asked me what I do. And I said, well, I'm an engineering professor, but I love using your music videos in my classes. And Damien, in the band's tendency to jump on things right away, said, well, we should do something together. And that was spring of 2017. We within a few weeks were hatching OK Go Sandbox and actually filming just a few months after. In fact, by spring of 2018, less than a year after we met for the first time, OK Go Sandbox became a real thing, the interactive website that I'm going to show you shortly. So how do we get there? Well, this is where we are today. And I'm going to talk to you a bit actually about All Together Now, which is the band's latest music video, and also OK Go Sandbox's latest challenge to makers everywhere. But getting there, we really had to figure out what was it about the band's music videos. And if we were in person, I would ask you guys, feel free to write this in the chat, but I'm curious, which of the band's music video is your favorite? The very first one that I ever saw was their chain reaction Rube Goldberg machine. And it was a perfect thing to throw into some of the STEAM classes and engineering classes that I taught. But up until that point, the band had never created anything specifically for educators. They got emails over the past decade plus from teachers who loved their videos and used them in classes, but the band had never taken on creating something specifically for education. And that is where OK Go Sandbox comes in. It is the band's first foray into creating things specifically for kids and teachers. So if you haven't watched OK Go Sandbox, I'm going to show you a few shortened versions of some of our lessons. And here is our first one. Actually, I will tell you, this is the very first one that we ever filmed, and we filmed it at the university where I work. It was actually the first day that I ever met the band other than Damien. So the guys agreed, even before meeting us in the lab, to start filming some education videos just about 3 months after I met Damien. And they showed up at my university. I handed them scripts and said, "Hi, I'm Anne-Marie." And then we began. We've been working just by email up until that point. So here's the very first OK Go Sandbox video we ever made.
You guys set?
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay, go.
4.21 seconds.
4.21. One of the hardest things about making our chain reaction machine for this too shall pass was to get it to run in perfect time to the music.
Yeah, it was super important to have the machine line up with our song. And so in order to do that, we had to cut our song into manageable sections and then design a machine for each section. Each section was 6 seconds long. So if the machine was going too fast or too slow, it would mess up the timing for everything that came after. And then we'd have to stop, reset, and start all over again.
To give you a sense of what it takes, we want you to try it. We posted 3 different music clips to the OK Go Sandbox website. Each music clip is a different length of time. So pick your favorite music clip and then design your own chain reaction machine that starts and ends right in time with the music.
Yeah, and it'd be great to get the events in the machine to match the rhythm in the drum beat, or have the whole thing end in an epic sound.
And that was our official first foray into creating OK Go Sandbox videos. Now, if you've never looked at our website, I'm gonna share the website for a second with you and show you what you'd find if you came to look at that challenge. 1 second here. So on the OK Go Sandbox website, and I'll show you the filters later, we can go to a specific music video. And in this case, it's This Too Shall Pass. If we view the lessons, you'll see the music video, but you'll also find videos that are new to OK Go Sandbox. In this case, a new making of video, the chain reaction video that you just saw, a lesson on how sound works, and also a introduction to simple machines. For each of these, we've also posted educator guides. So if you're hoping to use these in the classroom, you can use these guides to find standards that they might map to, but also, probably my favorite thing, at the bottom, guiding questions that you can use to facilitate with your students. For the chain reaction one, if this is a challenge you'd like to do with your students, you can also find clips of music that are at different lengths that you can then use to challenge your students to make even longer chain reaction machines to the band's music. Now, a really fascinating thing about this for us was that when we launched, we weren't really sure what we'd find. And we've now seen chain reaction machines and weird sounds and art projects from users around the world who have started incorporating OK Go Sandboxes into their maker clubs or into their STEAM classes. All right, well, how do we get to an OK Go Sandbox video? This is probably one of my favorite aspects of it, is that all of you out there who might be educators, you're part of this process. This was the very first photo shoot and first video shoot we ever did for OK Go Sandbox. Like I mentioned, this was the first day that the band even met me and my students. But a key part of that first day, the first day we were filming, was actually a meeting between Damien and myself and over 30 teachers of varying classes, of varying grades, various subjects. And this has been a key part of OK Go Sandbox. As I'll show a little bit later, we always have, whenever we are filming OK Go Sandbox content, we always have at least one PK through 12 teacher on set with us at all times, with the director, with the band, with me, giving us feedback in real time. So this even though we can't bring all of the educators who use OK Go Sandbox into our filming situations, we make sure that there's a representative every time we film. Well, it's not just engineering. It's not just math. There's also a lot of art if you've watched OK Go's videos. And one of my favorite OK Go videos is the one moment where they take a 4-second filming and then slow it down in slow motion over almost 4 minutes. And it turns out that everything that happened in 4 seconds matches up with the music in their video, the music in their song. For this, we actually branched into our first art video. And many of you might know that Dan, the drummer, is an incredible drummer, among other talents. But did you know that Dan is also an artist? Well, Dan and Tim have become our art teachers for videos like this short one that I'd love to show you next.
For the beginning of our video, The One Moment, I begin with a giant flip book. And actually, we have it here. Whoa, it's really heavy. And as you can see, when you pull back the pages, you can see Damien lip syncing. It's hard to do because it's so thick. But this flip book was made for me. I didn't make it myself, and I actually don't know how to make a flip book, but Dan does.
I do.
All right, so can you show me how to make
Absolutely.
a flip book? All right.
The general idea of a flip book is, you have these still images, and over the course of the flip book, they progress very, very subtly between each one, and there's a continuity between all the pictures, and it gives you a sense of movement.
Yeah.
As you flip the book. So I think the good place to start is just think simply, and we'll just make a line travel across the notepad.
Okay.
It's pretty fun. It takes a while, but it's fun to do. And as we go through this, we can do more complex things.
Okay, I don't draw very well, so, but that's...
No worries,
right,
it's fine. So
okay.
The very first page, I think the way to start, flip kind of closer to the end. So like right about there, and we're gonna start there. The flip book is going to work this way, and you're going to see the animation like that.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So you start on the right side of the page,
Yep.
and you make a little line like that, right? The next page, you drop down the next piece of paper.
Oh, and then I can see
you can see where it was,
yeah.
and we make that line inch across the page, the same level that you're
so
at.
Basically right there.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. Oh, this is easier than I thought.
Yeah, this is an easy one to do. And I like to call this one Flying Arrow.
Oh.
Flying Arrow.
Do you?
This is the name of this book.
Oh, that's nice.
So you'll see how it feels that way when we're done. So let's see yours.
Okay.
See how yours
all
looks.
right. So let me. It works.
Okay.
But it's just not well.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. But I
Let
see how it moves.
me show you how mine looks. Okay.
What's it called? Flying Arrow?
Flying Arrow.
The master.
Thank you.
I love that video because one of the things that we really want with OK Go Sandbox is for our videos to be accessible. And so while that was a basic flipbook, if you were to go to the site, you would find there's a version 2 where they then get into a dancing Dan and Tim for their flipbook. But the nice thing is the Flying Arrow is a simple one where step by step you can create your own Flipbook, even if you don't know how. And we really want that with OK Go Sandbox, for people to be able to jump in. If it's something they've never done before, they can jump in and try it, whether they're exploring art or they're exploring gravity or density, or even creating their own sounds. We broadened things out a little bit with Sandbox, and have also been trying to bring in some of the work that the Playful Learning Lab does. If any of you know the work that the Playful Learning Lab does, that again is the research group that I lead of about 32 undergraduates. And we have created things ranging from conductive Play-Doh, if you've ever used squishy circuits, up to work with circus performers. But a project that is near and dear to the hearts of all of us in the Playful Learning Lab is our work with the deaf community. And it turns out that in the music video, I'll give you a quick little pop quiz if anyone's watching, and the tech support can tell me if anybody writes the answer and who they are. And in fact, maybe if someone gets it right, maybe we'll have to find a way to send you something. Does anybody know what music video of the band's included some American Sign Language? Anyone? I'll tell you that answer at the end. Let's see if anyone can tell us in which music video does OK Go Sandbox use, does OK Go in their music videos, do they use American Sign Language? Well, because the band has a little bit of familiarity with sign language, and also because they were working with us, we convinced them last year, it didn't take much convincing, for International Deaf Awareness Week to create a series of videos introducing themselves and the alphabet in American Sign Language.
A,
B, C,
D,
E,
F.
And I meant to share, but shared the wrong video, the band introducing themselves in American Sign Language. They also do the alphabet, but if you look on the site or look on our social feeds, you'll find the band introducing themselves and their names in sign language. So that was a fun project to bring in projects that we were already doing in the lab and then pull them together with things that the band had a history of. We've also been, as moving forward, looking at ways to get more kids, educators, and families interacting with the band. And the first way we did that was by creating a series of live events called Ask OK Go Sandbox. In California, whenever we go out to film with the band, for the last 2 trips, we have been doing live events with 1,000 school children from around Los Angeles. And it turns out that they're some of the best interviewers we could ever hope to find. And recently, a few weeks ago, launched a new section of the OK Go Sandbox website that has Ask OK Go, which are questions asked of the band by kids. And I thought I'd play one for you that I always wondered when watching many of the band's videos, especially the Rube Goldberg chain reaction video. Oops. Wrong video, apologies. There we go.
When you got shot by paintballs, did it hurt?
Sometimes it does hurt, and we ended up covered in paint at the end of almost every video. But we're filled with such relief that we usually made it to that part in the video that it doesn't really hurt because we're just full of joy.
There was one time where it hurt really bad. That was at the end of, we have a song called This Too Shall Pass, and we built a big Rube Goldberg machine. And at the end of it, we get blasted with different colored paint. I got blasted with red paint, and it hit me right in the nose. And I was like, ow! And so we stopped, and we had an on-set medic who came, but they couldn't tell if I was bleeding because I had red paint all over me. So that hurt. I wasn't bleeding. And that's my story.
There it is. You see Tim with the red paint on his face? Right, those cannons right in the front were they're air cannons, and so they put there's like a lot of air pressurized, and then you release the air, and the paint is on the other side of the air, so it throws the air at your face, and it hit Tim's face pretty hard.
Pretty hard. But I'm a professional.
Yeah, that one we tried to do 89 times, and we only got to the end twice. So this was very uncomfortable, but the fact that we got there was so amazing that I didn't feel anything.
When you got shot.
So we have loved getting questions from young audience members. That has actually probably been one of the highlights of our live events, is the fantastic questions that kids and teachers have been sending to the band, and we hope to do a lot more of that. I was going to show you a video. I think I'm going to skip on a video. Maybe I'll show one at the end if people ask. I would encourage you, if you are a math geek like me, to watch the One Moment of Math, which is one of our very mathy, awesome videos. So I think I'll save till the end. But I want to tell you what else we've been up to with OK Go Sandbox. We actually got to see quite a few of you last year in New York. The band did a long tour of their performing arts show. Unlike the rock shows that OK Go had been doing for decades, over the last 2 years, they've been going to theaters around the country and doing a show where they perform live in front of their music videos, which is particularly interesting if you realize that some of their music videos are done using unusual instruments. So they had to come up with ways they could do it in a theater. And the OK Go Sandbox team hit the road with them as well. And we've actually been able to meet teachers in the different cities and in the lobbies create some installation art where families and kids could come and bang on things and try their luck at recreating some famous moments from OK Go music videos. But last spring, we got to do possibly our most epic interactive project yet that seems perfect to discuss at a Maker Faire. As you may know, OK Go created a music video in microgravity. They were on a plane running parabolas, and they decided to invite kids around the world to come up with an art experiment that could only happen in space. And in fact, if you look at one of our posters here, it says OK Go made art in space, and actually no, it was in a plane in microgravity. And now it's your turn. Actually in a real spaceship in real space, much cooler. By partnering with Blue Origin and our longtime supporter Cognizant, we were able to offer kids around the world a chance to dream up art experiments that would happen on a Blue Shepard, one of Blue Origin's, New Shepard, one of Blue Origin's spacecraft. And we received entries from 28 different countries, from Uzbekistan to Australia. And the band, working with a panel of engineering professors, art historians, and more, came up with 2 that they decided were the winning entries. And I thought I'd share a kind of fun video we took of the kids finding out that they won.
Hello.
God! This is awesome. This is surreal right now. Oh my God!
I'm Damien.
I'm Tim.
I'm Andy.
We're OK Go. How are you? We wanted to tell you that we're sending your art to space.
Oh my God!
Yeah, you won.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
And over a pretty surreal couple of months, a team from Blue Origin, lots of engineers in the Twin Cities, and students in the Playful Learning Lab worked really closely with these 2 groups of students, a middle school team and a high school team, working on these ideas. And they had 2 ideas. Their ideas were, our team from New York, actually, the winning team from New York, created an idea called Dark Origin. And they were probably one of the first groups to send glitter to space. They created a magnet-based idea that allowed, once microgravity was hit, magnet door opened and glittery particles were released and attracted to magnets. So then they had 2 new planets that were created that they were then able to receive after the spacecraft landed. The second team, a group of boys from Utah and California, came up with an idea called Cosmic Song, which was one of the first, I think, electric guitars to go to space. Again, these are payloads, so small, really cool engineering that went into them. And if anyone's curious in the making of this, I will happily share some papers that we've written and some footage. But this was launch day, and new customers included these 2 groups of young makers. And we really, one of the best parts of this was seeing the designs that came from around the world. So we're hoping to have some more ways to interact with OK Go Sandbox for kids worldwide soon. Something that has been key to every one of these projects has been educators. And I'm super, super proud of the way that the band and the entire OK Go Sandbox team has involved educators from the start, be it town hall meetings where we've had educators and band members discussing things that might be useful for classrooms, but then our teachers on set. And I wanted to give a shout out to a few of them. You'll notice Allison and Cindy and another Allison and Nicole and Carolyn, who are teachers who have either been in Minnesota when we filmed or then traveled to California with us to film with the band, and who have really given the voice of educators to all of our sets. But obviously that's changed a little bit. We don't know the next time that we're going to get to fly to California and film with the band. We don't know the next time that the band will fly here, right? In our COVID times, symbolized quite well by the fact that I'm talking to all of you through Zoom, we don't know what that looks like. And OK Go actually released their most recent music video a few months ago from their respective homes. And the piece of music the band wrote is called All Together Now. And it's about creating music and creating art and the shared humanity of this time. And it was a fundraising song. They actually proceeds going to Partners in Health and frontline workers. Damien has since shared that he and his wife were some of the early COVID cases in LA, and this was a cause that was near and dear to their hearts. At Sandbox, though, we as a team saw the opportunity for this to be a chance to call all of you makers together as well. And I'm going to play for you the challenge that the band has laid out for all of you and how to get involved.
All together now, all together alone in the chrysalis. All together now, we're all together alone.
Hi, I'm Damien.
And I'm Tim.
We are in the band OK Go, and for decades we have been working together on all sorts of creative projects, but almost always in the same place.
Yes.
And we've just released a song called All Together Now that was made with me in this room.
Me in this room.
Because, as you all know, this is how the world is right now. And we would like to challenge you to do the same. Make some art, make something creative with somebody at a distance, someone who's not where you are. And it's a broad challenge. You don't need to do it the way we did. It doesn't need to be a film. It doesn't need to be a song. It doesn't need to be anything. Just find a way to express yourself because it will be good for you. It'll feel good. And because the world could use more uplifting and hopeful messages right now. We all need each other, and we could all use some warmth and some love. And the song that we made was about being all together even when we're alone. We hope that you will take this opportunity to make some art together in your separate spaces. Tim, you want to hear my hashtag for this?
Yes, I would like to hear your hashtag.
It's pretty exciting. Art together now. Hashtag.
Ooh.
Hashtag art together now.
Very punny. Very punny.
Yeah. I'm a dad. I'm a dad. I got to do things like that now. And, it's quite literal. We got to make art together now.
There you
all together.
So that is our challenge to all of you. If you go to the OK Go Sandbox website, which I'll show you in a second, we do have a lesson plan. It's the shortest lesson plan we've ever written because basically your materials as we write are anything. Grade level is everyone. The content area is art and collaboration. But we are also collecting these on a website. So Art Together Now is a site where we will share the projects and ideas that you all create. And I encourage makers everywhere to find ways to make together, make art together. And if you're watching this and you would like to get involved, please reach out to me. Send me an email. I'm pretty easy to find on the internet. And let me know how you would like to make art together now. And perhaps we can find a way to do that with Sandbox. So what's up next? I am really delighted to say that even though we can't fly to be together, maybe we can't film our next set of videos, I will say we're super lucky. We filmed a set in December of 2019 that we've released, all about optical illusions, which was so much fun. We had neuroscientists involved. I'll show you when I get to the website part. But we aren't together filming right now. And so what we've been doing has been a lot of meetups with educators. If you are not on the OK Go Sandbox mailing list, please join it. I'll show you on the website how to do it. We send out content and links to what's going on, but we also often send out hey, anyone want to meet with us in the band next week? because we've been doing a lot of these Zoom calls lately. We did a Zoom call last week looking with the OK Go Sandbox team at ways that English and language arts classrooms use OK Go Sandbox or would like to. And maybe that's a hint to some of the stuff we're working on. We also did a hangout this summer with 40 teachers and the full band, and our teachers came from all around the world. And that is actually something that Playful Learning Lab is working on right now, is translating content on OK Go Sandbox. We currently have some optical illusion video materials in Arabic and in Spanish and in English and in American Sign Language. So you will probably see more of that coming. But we're also really hoping to talk to more music teachers. We have some art content and music content and engineering and math content on the site. But we've been talking a lot lately about music education and what it looks like in these times. So if these are things that are interesting you or you have ideas, again, we answer every email, the band or I, that goes to our hello@OKGoSandbox email address. We'd love to hear from you. So before I go to the website, I want to stress the huge thank yous. We have now produced over 25 OK Go Sandbox videos, just as many educator guides, 2 live events for 1,000 kids at a time, countless meetups for teachers and kids, and things happening at the band's concerts. And this is all made possible by our incredible sponsors. We've been supported over the past 3 years by Google and Morton and Cognizant, and we really couldn't do it without them. So now I'm going to share our website. Now, if anybody has questions or ideas, please feel free to share them. Again, I've been teaching lots of classes as a college professor lately on Zoom, and they're always more fun when we interact. So I would love to take some questions, because the last thing I was just going to show you is the site itself. So here is the OK Go Sandbox website. And we'll just go start at the main part of the site. Okay, here is OK Go Sandbox. And when you see the site, you can click on an individual music video. If you are looking specifically, if you want to do something on optical, let's look at optical illusions, the writing on the wall, you can go to that music videos page. And for the writings on the wall, as I mentioned, this is the latest big chunk of content we've released. We have a explainer on optical illusions. The great neuroscience professor Roxanne Pritchard was our consultant for that and helped us write out on how the brain works. All of these videos are directed by Jeff Shelton, who works closely with the band. But then the guys actually explain how to create some optical illusions. Here, I'll give you a little sneak peek of one of my faves.
Hey, Andy. Hey.
What do you see here?
It looks like a bunch of pool noodles hanging in the air.
Okay, go check it out from over there.
Oh, it's a cube.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
These pool noodles, you can look at them from anywhere and see pool noodles, but from one specific spot, your brain also tricks you into seeing a cube, even though there's no cube here.
Cool. How does it work?
Well, it's all about perception and perspective. I'll show you. Let's go make a little one in a box.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna build the same thing in this little box. What we need is a ruler and some paper, pencils, pens, something like that. Fishing line. Yeah, something to cut with, scissors or a blade, tape.
I'll let you watch some other time to see how this ends, but the guys walk you through how to make an illusion in a box. And then if you need some step-by-step instructions, those are also provided with pictures on the site. Well, so that was one way. We went to a music video that we like or are interested in and saw what we had for it. And you can do that by lessons, but you can also go to filter resources. And filter resources let you search by grade. Maybe you're looking for art content, and maybe you don't care what grade level, and it can be any music video. And if you click that, you'll get the art content. Art of Experimentation is a fun one. The guys use different viscosity fluids to create their own mini music video. We can do the same thing with math. Let's go to filter resources, and let's look for middle school and high school math. Here, we get a lot of information. Hit the note is on pitch. Making the moment, one moment, is on frame rates. The one moment of math is, I think, what I'll end the session with if I don't have questions. How parabolas work. This is probably one of our most in-depth math guides, where the guys explain how they were able to seem like they were in zero gravity. But then we dive in at 2 different levels into the math of parabolas, which is the shape that plane flight path was in, complete with some opportunities for students to test out graphing and actually use data from OK Go's flight. If that's a little too much, you can also do a upper elementary, early middle school version, which might load here. Let's see, with general parabolas, just explaining and then a plotting of some basic parabolas. As I mentioned, we are always looking for ideas on other things to do, so would love to hear from you on that. Ask OK Go is that new section that I mentioned, and these are questions that were asked by actual kids in the audience to the guys. Quite a few of these, and hopefully more to come. If you go to the About section, you can sign up for our mailing list. Again, I highly recommend this. As a person who helps send out these newsletters, I know that a couple chances to chat with different parts of the team, including the band, are coming up. We'd really love to hear your ideas, particularly for what new things we could create that might be useful for educators, maker spaces, families. And I think I'm not seeing any questions in the chat, so maybe I will play one more video for you, which is the one moment of math, which is our most watched OK Go Sandbox video that shows just how much thought had to go into this. Oh, wait, let me show you one little secret. Makers, I suspect many of you have used spreadsheets to create things. The band actually gave us permission to share the actual spreadsheet that they used for the making of this music video. Many, many pages, all their timing, the calculations. You could lose days or hours playing with that spreadsheet. And here I'll show you the video that explains a little bit of what they did.
Our normal process for making videos is trial and error, testing some cheaper version of what you will be doing so that you can practice it and get a sense for it. But in slow motion, it's really hard to do that, especially when some of the elements are inherently dangerous. None of this stuff happens in our realm of experience, our realm of perception. They're not happening at speeds that we can access. So the only way that I can actually get in there and tinker with those events, the only way I can communicate with those events is through math. So I built this spreadsheet that had all the things we wanted to have happen, and then all of the various parameters we needed to consider. The main ones are what time does it need to happen? So what time do I need to trigger it in some way? And what speed should the camera be going at that point? I guess we could look at the section where the balls drop and break. During that section, each one cracks right on a beat. We need to hit its podium and explode at exactly the right time.
So we've gone through this song and we've found the exact time for each beat we want to hit. We've got ball crash 1 at 1 minute 48.387 seconds. And ball crash 2 is 149.354 and so on. So you get all the way up to 16. And now we also know that these are all evenly spaced notes, right? It's an even rhythm going dot, 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 dot. So if we compare the times here, we should find that the amount of time elapsed between each hit is the same. Sure enough, we see that each beat is, in fact, 0.967 seconds apart. Now for this video, our base frame rate is 30 frames per second. And what that means is that for each second of finished video, there are 30 still pictures that the camera is taking. So really any duration of time can be thought of as actually a number of still pictures, right? And if we start at 0 at the beginning of the video, each moment in the video has its own distinct picture number or frame number. So if we look back to the impact times, we can translate those into frame numbers. If we look at the duration of each beat, we can figure out how many frames each beat is. And so you see here that's 29. So, okay, at this point we have determined this much. Each beat of the song is 0.967 seconds long, and that'll be 29 frames of the finished video. That means each ball should land 29 frames after the last one, but the question really is, what does that mean for us when we're filming in real time? How much time do we need to wait between dropping each ball? Well, to capture slow motion, we'll be shooting with a really high-speed camera. It gets way more than the normal 30 frames per second. And in fact, you can see here that our frame rate at this point is 550 frames per second. We know we're trying to capture 29 frames, so if 1 second equals 550 frames, how many seconds equals 29 frames? X over 1 equals 29 over 550 equals 0.0527272727, repeating, which we rounded to 0.053. In real time, we need these balls to land 0.053 seconds apart. That's about a 20th of a second. Each of the balls was rigged at the same height above its platform, so that means each one will take the same amount of time to get to its impact. So now we know how quickly in succession we have to drop each one for them to land 1 beat apart in slow motion.
The dance we were trying to choreograph, all of these beautiful slow motion things, it's basically a giant math problem.
But you could also kind of see it as like a way of traveling, kind of, right? Because we never get to live at that time scale. We never get to see that stuff. And through math, we actually can kind of get these handles in a universe that we don't otherwise have access to. So it's also kind of like an insane sci-fi trip.
Oops. I will say one of my proudest moments there was getting our unit conversions into the OK Go Sandbox video. So shout out to my high school physics teacher who was very picky about unit conversions. It has served me well in my many years of engineering schooling. So that is our OK Go Sandbox kind of quick rapid tour. It is continuously evolving. If we go back in time, right, we only ever met even as came up with the idea at all back in the spring of 2017. So we're 3 years in. We've learned a lot. We have changed a lot of things based on feedback from people like you watching, be you a teacher or a maker or a parent or a kid. And we're really looking forward to what comes next. I highly encourage all of you to join us for Art Together Now. If you are a teacher and would like to launch this with a class and maybe would like a custom video asking your class to create some art together, send me an email. But also send me emails with the ideas that you might have for ways that we can help you bring some joy and delight and whimsy to your students or your children or yourself these days. One of the greatest treats about this has been hearing has been for me as an engineering professor to see how willing the band has been to dive into this world of education that they've never been in. I see your note there, Lisa. Yes, the unit conversion. I'm not the only person who's excited. It looks like Lisa was also. So yes, unit conversions, they were super important in the band's work. You'll see that in a couple more of the videos that they've created. And so it's been 45 minutes. I think we have a few minutes for question and answer. If anyone has any questions or ideas, please chat them either in the Zoom chat or on the YouTube live. The moderators are watching and they'll get them to me. I'm happy to take some questions. All right, so it looks like there's no questions, but we'll wait a few minutes. If you have any questions or again, ideas, I'd love to hear them. Nobody gave me a solution to the question of what music video did the band use American Sign Language in? And it was actually in the music video Obsession. Damien fingerspells the song, fingerspells the word obsession. His fingerspelling has improved greatly, as you'll now see in the introduction videos that the band has done in American Sign Language. Thank you to all of you watching too. I know this is an unusual way to do a Maker Faire. I'm so grateful to the Empire State Maker Faire for pulling off such a diverse set of presentations and workshops that we can all attend from our own homes. It is delightful to see other makers and hear from them during this unusual fall. Thank you all for watching. And again, I really do reiterate, please feel free to send me an email if you have ideas or you have questions about the projects. Have a great rest of the Maker Faire, friends.